Welcome back, my students, to another episode of Comic Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at the New Gods 11-issue miniseries by Jack Kirby. And I'm pretty excited to be jumping into the Fourth World saga, basically with the New Gods miniseries written by Jack Kirby. Because, I really enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League, and if you watch that movie, you realize that Steppenwolf, Desaad, and I believe Darkseid are all New Gods. So I really want to learn about these characters and kind of see their origins and, this world. Kind of just explore it with you guys. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into this story. Let's go. So New Gods basically starts off with an introduction giving us this time frame of the civil war that happened on the planet of the Old Gods. And we learn in this battle that the Old Gods actually died and the New Gods were born after. Now, the battle that happened between the Old Gods basically split the planet into two and created two new planets, which became New Genesis and Apocalypse. We also get to see the character Orion in these panels, and this is the start of the New Gods. Now, we get to see that Orion is basically summoned to New Genesis by Highfather from one of the missions he was on, and Light Ray basically kind of gives us a little bit of Orion's character, basically stating that Orion basically is so worn-torn and he basically lives for war that he feels like he can lighten up a bit. And we get to see more of a dark side to Orion, and kind of like his past troubles him and what his destiny entails. We'll find out later on. Now we get to see that Orion and Light Ray basically go to talk to the Highfather, and the Highfather basically tells Orion that he needs him to go with him to the Source, because the Source has a message for them. Now, after this, we get to see the Source basically create like a physical hand or a spiritual hand, and basically writes a message for Orion, basically telling Orion that he has to head to Earth to stop Darkseid from accomplishing the anti-life equation. Now, we get introduced to the character of Metron, which is a person that has control of the Mobius chair, which gives him a lot of knowledge throughout the universe, and that's basically his purpose. And basically Metron teases that Orion is basically the son of Darkseid, which Orion doesn't know at this point, and Highfather basically gets on to Metron for almost revealing that to Orion, even though he's not ready. And Orion basically takes off to head to Earth. And before he goes to Earth, he actually arrives at Apocalypse, and we get to see basically what Apocalypse entails. Basically, if New Genesis is the heaven, Apocalypse is the hell, and the parademons, which are Darkseid's henchmen basically on Apocalypse, basically they live to serve Darkseid, basically attack Orion, and we get a really cool fight scene with Orion basically showing us his power set, which is really cool. He basically fights against tons of parademons, also hellhounds as well, and it manages to defeat all of them. Eventually he gets locked in a battle with Caliban, which is another son of Darkseid. I believe he's the first son of Darkseid, and they get in a battle, but Orion basically is helped by Metron and basically tells him that he needs to get to Earth. We get to learn that Metron is actually the guy who created the Boom Tube, which allows them to head to Earth in almost an instant, which is really cool. And I never knew that Metron was the one who created the Boom Tube. I always assumed Darkseid had created the technology that allowed that. So that was really cool to find out in this first issue. And basically we learned that Orion does not like Metron at all. He feels like Metron kind of like operates as a machine. He's not even really like a person, and all he cares about is basically getting knowledge. But this doesn't affect Metron. Basically says that he just wants Orion to get his job done. So eventually Metron leaves, basically freeing the human captives, basically that Darkseid had acquired to try to get the anti-life equation out of them. And Caliban basically fights against Orion after Metron leaves, and Orion is able to hold his own against Caliban, which Caliban is pretty strong. I feel like a lot of people downplay that character, he's how he looks, but the dude is pretty strong. So Orion takes a few hits from him, and basically is able to knock him back. This is where Orion basically opens a boom tube and basically gets all of the people out of there. I think it's funny how one of them actually looks like George Lucas. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But yeah, so Caliban basically throws his club at them, basically saying that he's going to bring death to Orion, but Orion's able to escape with the rest of them, of the humans, and basically Caliban basically vows to kill Orion for his father and bring his carcass to him, which is pretty dark. Eventually they get to Earth, and Orion basically tells the people of Earth that there's a way bigger thing going on than what they can even begin to understand, which is, pretty crazy. And this is where he basically says a battle looms, which binds us all, and we get to see that Darkseid can actually hear Orion talking. Basically says, "I hear you, Orion, the battle begins," and that's the end of issue 1 of the 11-issue miniseries. And yeah, for our first issue, guys, I know this video was really quick, but there wasn't a lot to talk about this first issue. It's basically just an introduction to the new gods and basically to New Genesis and Apocalypse. Pretty sure we're going to be diving more into these places in a few issues later. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the battle between Caliban and Orion. I enjoyed the lore, expansion for Metron and what Metron's role is and basically the new gods. I thought that was cool, as Metron's always interested me as a character. And I just thought Orion was a really good protagonist for this first issue. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the protagonist of the entire miniseries. And if I have to dive into the other materials, such as the Fourth World Saga or the Forever People, I might have to cover that too. But we'll see where this New Gods miniseries takes us. I mainly just wanted to cover this because I knew Jack Kirby drew and wrote it, and I really wanted to see what the King of Comics had to brought to the table, basically. And I was not disappointed. I thought this was great, and I hope the rest of the other 10 issues are going to be just as great. But yeah, that was New Gods issue 1, guys. Link in the description down below. Go check it out in Comicsology. It's fantastic. You gotta go read it. And I'll have issue 2's review out really soon. I want to complete this mini-series on this channel pretty quickly so that we can jump into some other great comics. And yeah, but until next time, guys, God bless you. And until the next lesson, keep on reading those comics.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you